Welcome to the, oh my God, June 2022 podcast. We have slept on it for a couple months. We were all a little tired. Uh, some of us were overbooked, and some of us were just a little burnt out on it. But we're back now. We're back now. And we are having we are having good time tonight. I hope everyone had a good past couple of months, and I hope you all haven't forgotten about us because we're back. We're back, and we're back with a fantastic show for you guys. Uh, this past few months, 6 episodes, we have we have watched Gunbuster. I have been wanting to review Gunbuster for a long time, and unfortunately, Josh isn't here for me to argue with about Mecha. He had some schedule problems. We just couldn't delay any longer. So Josh isn't here, but I'm here. And so are the other three. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? I'm Neo Tokyo Tempo.
Earl Neko.
I am Baron.
It's your boy Striker here.
All right, all right. So Gunbuster was a show made in the late '80s by Gainax. It was, if I remember correctly, it was the first anime that Hideaki Anno directed, and I think it's a fantastic show. It stars a girl named Noriko who lost her father to a mysterious evil force, or to a mysterious alien force. Sorry, who are hell bent on destroying humanity, and it follows Noriko as she learns how to pilot a mech and goes from an incompetent to a badass. And the main gimmick of the plot is, well, light speed time travel. But we'll get to that later. Um, anyway, let's just
Ben,
dive right into the animation.
may I jump in real
Josh,
quick?
of course.
I think the best thing about this anime is it was nowhere near as confusing as Evangelion. Same studio.
It's not
I mean,
it's not as confusing, but Evangelion, it yeah, well, I don't know. We can argue about that some other time. Um,
I mean, this one is deeper than Evangelion in the first place. At least there
I
is
I
an
don't.
effort put in the story.
Yeah, no, that's not up in the can of
No,
worms.
that
Anyways,
is yeah. Let's not open the can of worms. Also, you're wrong.
We already did.
Anyway, so
Ooh.
let's dive right into the animation. I'm going to start this time, even though I usually let Josh start. He's not here. I but anyway. So the animation in this is absolutely fucking beautiful. It is some of the most detailed stuff uh, I've ever seen, to be honest. The shading is excellent. There's amazing contrasts between like the dark and light colors, which you don't really see in modern shows. All mechanical bits. First of all, there's like no CGI. Everything is hand painted.
Thank
And
God.
yeah, thank God. And mechanical bits are like anything that's robotic is extremely detailed, like painstakingly. And animations are really fluid. it really feels like these guys wanted to show off. Like they really were confident in how good of animators they were, and they really wanted to show off. Everything is beautiful. Some of the some of the some of the character modeling looks a little dated, but everything else is just top notch.
I mean, after like, what is it, 20? No, it's not 28, 30 years old almost, right?
34 years old.
34 years
Actually.
old anime, and it still has a better action scenes than like the recent mech shows. So that says, I mean, it should say a lot about how
Yeah,
crappy the current like seasonal anime is.
I probably own more.
Now,
I probably own more Gunpla kits than anybody in this chat room, or in this podcast. But I was gonna say a lot of modern or more recent anime shows. The combat is kind of like a kid just like spinning around action figures, but you can't see the kid's hands. It's very basic. Like the stakes are they might be high, but maneuvering and all that it's nowhere near as good as the stuff from the 90s and 80s. And this is a prime example of a good 80s mech show. I'm sorry, a good
Yeah,
80s mech anime.
yeah. You can. One of the things about modern shows that kind of annoys me is a lot of the times it's hard to like even follow the action. Whereas this, some of the stuff is like simpler, but it's also like a lot easier to follow. And if you can tell what's going on, like hit for hit, it's easier to get like invested in the tension and the drama of the scene.
I'm gonna be that guy, but this anime is notorious for two things. First and foremost, this anime was patient zero of the trope that is gynaxing. For those who don't know what gynaxing is, it was the buoy bounce. Yes, jiggle physics. This was the anime that pioneered it.
Yes, the jiggle physics are there. The jiggle physics are detailed. The jiggle physics are um I like them a lot. Um
Eh, yeah, for
oh
real.
yeah,
For
oh
real.
yeah.
I as being the one person who's more interested in machinery than human anatomy, I will say something funny. I found it amusing that nowadays they use CGI for that, but now this was all done by hand.
yeah, well,
Yep.
I listen, all right. I like machinery too, but I also like me some human anatomy.
Oh yeah.
I'm a biologist, you
No,
see.
dude,
Oh god.
I
And
picked Skynet.
the
I picked.
biology in this show is Kino.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
There was a
Okay.
I cannot disagree with you there. But
Okay.
I will say I would always pick Skynet over Pamela Anderson.
Oh
oh
god.
the other
Speaking of that, there is some nudity in the show, like
oh
full
A
frontal
lot.
nudity.
A lot of it.
yeah, and there was also another trope that this anime actually pioneered. You know the Ganex pose that has been in several shows like Gurren Lagann
Oh yeah,
and Evangelion.
the one where the arms are crossed and the camera
Yeah,
is pointing
yeah,
up at the character.
Hmm.
yeah. That is called the Gunbuster pose.
Yeah.
Legit, that's what they
Um,
call it.
as far as I just like mentioned the full frontal nudity. Far as far as that goes, I've when I've looked at it, that's when at those points in time, that's when the character models seem the least detailed. Like it seemed like they didn't quite know how to draw that particularly well.
Not
Um,
yet.
And so it really it really doesn't like that's one of the few times where the animation really doesn't look all that great. And you can really tell there's a scene where the girls are in a bathtub, and it it's really not like their models are not that detailed in that scene. They're just not at all.
I mean, to be fair, they were drawing like 4x4 screens, so it's like there's not a lot of stuff they can do there. So,
Uh, Speaking of detail, I know we're going to animation, but I want to add something regarding detail. There were some things that I legit found interesting regarding detail. Like some of these were more like Easter eggs. Like Gynet always has these. Uh, one of the things I found out is that the mechs, at least the ones in the academy, in space, at least those had patterns from like companies like Adidas. Yes, that fucking Adidas and Puma between other companies. And then I thought, holy fucking shit, guy! Did Adidas decide to go into robotics now? What the hell?
Yeah. Let's briefly mention the robots themselves. What do you guys think of those?
Buster Machine One. Oh, that thing is something else actually.
I think Gunbuster itself looked pretty good, but the rest of the robots looked kind of generic.
Some of these, let's be honest here. Design wise, they look more like fighter planes than actual robots. But that's that's all things considered the spacecraft designs.
Well, I like the
But
spacecraft designs a lot. They're very sleek. They reminded me of those flying vehicles or those like flying cars from the Wipeout series.
mhm.
Wipeout being like the British version of F-Zero, but Sony bought it, so now it's Sony's. But like, I like that sleek arrowhead design, especially when the ailerons and the stuff on the side, like the fins and stuff, they're like obviously very aerodynamic. Like this tells me like yeah, the person who designed this actually took notice of how aerodynamics work. Because
As
these things do like enter and exit the atmosphere. So yeah. Anyway,
What one thing I did notice is that the aliens that they were fighting, they almost always were painted into the background and not animated.
hmm.
never noticed that until now.
Yeah, that's actually true. That's an interesting technique because, I mean, I guess, well, they don't move that much. Also, they're freaking gigantic sometimes.
Yeah, well, they're gigantic, and when they
Yeah.
do attack, they're moving so fast that the characters can barely see them.
Hmm.
Um, so they end up not moving. Like a lot of the times when you see them, they end up not moving. Also, if we're gonna talk animation, I almost forgot. We have to mention episode 6 and how it's all in black and white.
Oh, that was
Yeah, that's a weird choice.
I thought it was because as Skynet is infamous for this, they usually ran out of budget in the last episodes. It happened with Evangelion. It happened with Karekano. It happened to a lot of other Ganet shows.
It happens
Well,
pretty much with all of their shows.
well,
I
with
mean,
Kare Kano, it wasn't a matter of budget. What happened to Kare Kano was the like Hideaki Anno got ousted as director of Kare Kano, and the original manga writer came in to finish the last few episodes and did a horrible job.
Well,
Yeah, yeah. They had some.
But that's not Gunbuster. With Gunbuster, I don't know what was going on with their budget. I don't know if it was a stylistic choice or they literally had to buy up cheap black and white film to finish the show.
I think it was probably stylistic, especially because a lot of Gunbuster, a lot of the influences were like Western cinema and like war movies, specifically Top Gun. But if they wanted a attention grabbing, dramatic, intense episode, I can see why it would be monochrome.
There's some Akira Kurosawa in this. I can tell. At
Yeah,
least regarding
definitely. Definitely.
And if we're going with spaceship design for a moment, the aliens, they actually remind me of a game I reviewed at least a couple of years ago. It was a Sega Genesis game called Biohazard Battle, and they actually share some similarities, especially when it comes to the fact that the aliens themselves are biologically, how should I say? They're a blend of organic and what is that term? What is the term that they use for mixture between
Is it cybernetic?
not just cybernetic and organic matter, the aliens fuse. Yeah, synthetic. There we go. It was basically the same thing. Like the premise in that game was a bunch of massive fucking aliens were going to destroy a planet, and they are a mixture of robotic and organic material, in the sense that they have rocket boosters and then some laser weaponry. Even, I mean, seriously, even the
All right.
yeah, I apologize for that one.
Finish up with that. We're gonna have to move on.
Yeah. One thing I want to add is the absolute fucking unit on episode 6. That is the bomb. Holy fucking crap. That thing is as big as Jupiter. And for good reason, they actually encased Jupiter into that thing.
I just want to quickly bounce off of Lewis and just say one quick thing. This show, oddly enough, reminded me of Blue Gender. Except the difference was, the only difference was this wasn't like Battlestar Galactic or a post-apocalyptic mech show where the humans have to keep on moving, otherwise they're going to get wiped out. This was like different. This was like, I guess that's a good. You compared it to Macross, good comparison, because humanity has reached its peak. They live in giant cities, sprawling giant cities. The nations are all working together, which is like not realistic. Given how,
Macross.
yep. And like it was like Blue Gender, but like better, because Blue Gender is just
suck.
I own the Blue Gender film, which just cuts up the entire series. Yeah. Directed by Koichi Ohara, the guy that did MD Geist. Anywho, yeah, that's all. That's all I have to say. Yep, no, that's it. I just wanted to say it reminds me. It's like Blue Gender.
Anyway, let's move on to music and sound design, and I'm going to start by saying the opening theme is a classic and a banger, and everyone who is listening should listen to it right now. Like, it is like, drop whatever you're doing and like bang out to bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum. Like, it is fantastic. Like one of the best opening themes in anime.
The name of the song is called At the Heart, and it was performed by Noriko Sakai, in case anyone wants to look at it. Ironically, though, that one is good, But Fly High by Noriko Hidaka and Rei Sakuma, objectively to me, is better. And that is the thing that pops out in episode 5 during the final the battle with the absolute massive units. They have not only that, but holy fucking shit, it's a good drumming song.
Yeah.
Especially
I always I have a tendency to shit on soundtracks. For shows that I watch for this. I'm I am absolutely not going to for this. The soundtrack
you're
is
such a boomer, man. Holy shit.
fantastic. Like I have the soundtrack. My favorite track on it. It plays in the last scene of the show, and it's called "Beyond the River of Time," and it is absolutely beautiful. It is it is everything that a space opera, uh, like a space opera track should be. It is amazing, and I love it.
You know what I immediately got reminded of, like when I started watching this, and I just kind of let it simmer in my brain. For a minute, I was like, "This reminds me of Macross." I wonder if the people that did the music are famous because of it.
Well, are they?
I mean, it's not
Is
quite
it?
Macross because it doesn't have opera style, like because it's not necessarily a space opera. It's more of a like, mecha plus grand mech, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
it. I mean, it like the way the way that track resonates. It really just it's really just a perfect thing. Like otherwise, that final scene would feel like just a bit corny. But I think that music brings it over the edge and makes it music feel like a real triumph, uh like a reward at the end of everything. Um there's a couple other tracks. There's a duet between Coach and Kazumi.
Hmm.
Um
Oh,
in
the
one of
karaoke
the
one.
the karaoke one. And there's like no visuals during that. Um and that like despite that there's no visuals during that, you know what's you can kind of picture in your head what's going on during that scene, and it's done quite well. But yeah, the entire soundtrack, it's good stuff. And like I would almost recommend the anime for the music alone.
Mm, personally, I'm not feeling the ending theme. Not the ending theme of the series, but rather the ending theme of the credits. It wasn't my thing. But outside that, a lot of stuff here is quality, absolute quality. Like this is Showa era quality, like 1980s Japanese bubble economy tier quality. I mean, this was made in the of all things in the bubble economy. But that's more for another time. What I could explain the golden era of Japan, but
Yeah.
we had to move on.
Yeah, let's move on to the characters.
Oh.
So let's talk about our main gal, Noriko.
Excellent
Uh
lead.
yeah, she really is. um
Noriko Noriko is very energetic, and she's basically Rule 63 Will in the sense that she loves 20th century anime.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, she has a few interesting character quirks about her. For instance, she latches on to people pretty quickly. Um, but and that's kind of explained by the fact that like right in the beginning, uh, it's explained that her father dies. Um, and so she basically like has no one but people that she finds along the way. So she latches onto them quite quickly. Um,
I
she
feel like
also
she I feel like she latched on to some people a little too quickly in the case of Smith because, well, we don't know what happened to the guy afterwards.
yeah. I think that's kind of a positive and negative trait of her character. Sometimes it helps her, sometimes it doesn't. Um, she also has a distinct lack of self-confidence, especially in the beginning.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I like how
yeah,
she surprised the number two, the one that got ticked off that she didn't get the spot for the space crew to take on the aliens, and was like, you know what? This isn't fair. Noriko's new. She's a rookie. How come I didn't get that spot? So she challenges
Oh,
Noriko, and then like
oh,
Noriko,
you mean Reiko? You mean Reiko? That's the chick who got jealous of Noriko.
yeah. So she takes on Noriko, and then Noriko instinctively kicks her, like in a method that wasn't taught to her. So it like that was one cool, two very anime, like that's something you see in animes. Three, that like the character, like you said, doesn't have self confidence, but has these innate abilities that make her deadly towards the enemy.
Uh, you know what's interesting about Noriko? The fact that she was actually named after her voice actress, Noriko Hidaka. Uh, and
I
I'm checking
wondered about
Wikipedia right
that,
now.
dude. I actually wondered about that because I was looking at the cast.
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, Kazumi was named after the wife of the first president of Gynax.
you know, looking at the voice actress's portrait, uh, she even kind of looks like an older Noriko.
Well, all things considered, Noriko was an idol in the 80s. Besides being a singer, so
Oh, okay. You know what? They probably modeled the character's looks after her then. I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised.
Uh,
Um,
she's Noriko is also really into 20th century anime.
she even has the same hair, like almost the same haircut. Like just looking at her bangs.
Damn.
Like go on Mal right now. Look at characters and voice actors and look at the hair on both of them.
yep.
It's like the same haircut.
While I do
Just
that,
More or less.
like just the real life one is shorter.
oh, while I do that, it ends up that Noriko has this also awesome tendency to announce shout her attacks like her old golden era animes.
Yeah, that was a big that was a big trope back then. Um and it's kind of cheesy, but it's also kind of cool. Let's move on to Kazumi.
Oh yes, Miss
Oh god.
One-san, Miss One-san,
Now
Katsumi Hamano.
the first time you see Kazumi, you think Noriko is like romantically in love with her because the way they introduce her. But that's not the case. Um uh Kazumi Kazumi is considerably more confident than Noriko and somewhat protective of her. Um but
Basically,
also doesn't see her potential at first.
basically she looks at Noriko. Noriko looks at Kasumi as her superior, her senpai, if you will. She's also someone. She also looks up to her. So she has this big sister. She has this big sister confidence to her regarding Kasumi, and also she has one of the most complex developments in the series, considering who she's it's who she has a crush on. And my fucking god, will they do? In fact, they do in fact look like what the actual fuck. I was checking out Noriko Hidaka's male picture, like you said, and same bangs, even similar. Like, what the fuck? Okay, back to Kasumi real quick. Kasumi is also really, really talented in the sense that she has her own rival, and it happens to be June Freud, who, well, you know what? I'm gonna let you go ahead because
Yeah, Kazumi, like I said, Kazumi is protective of Noriko. Um, and she's uh like she to the point where she'll actually go behind Noriko's back and try to keep her from being sent out into space because she thinks she can't handle it, and for good reason. There's no proof that she can, and a lot of proof that she can't. Uh, especially in the first episode. Um, there's also the fact that she has a particular edge to her that Noriko doesn't have, especially in the beginning. But she has less consistency than Noriko. She uh once Noriko gains steam, she never falters, but Kazumi does.
and
And Noriko has to bring her back up.
yeah, especially on episode 4 when she breaks down regarding the enemy, the shit that they had to fight to save the Italian. Oh wait, wasn't it Italian? There was what was that one ship that they had to take care of oh, the Lot. Yeah,
I forget its name.
I know about the Lottian disaster, but yeah, the Italian. Yeah, it was the Italian. They had to protect the Italian in episode 4
Yeah.
because and only Noriko and Kasumi were the ones who were capable enough to destroy the ships that were almost blowing up to smithereens.
Yeah, let's talk about Coach.
Well, Coach is more of a nickname. His full name is let's see,
I'm looking at it right now.
Koichiro.
I
Fuck. Sorry.
I don't I'm not gonna I'm not gonna call him that. I'm just gonna call him Coach.
Yeah.
Coach is Coach is a lot like a lot of cool 80s anime dudes. He's got the big aviator sunglasses. He's got an intense yet aloof personality. And he has just perfect confidence. He's never there's never a moment where he's not confident, even when he's like literally dying.
Yeah, in the case of Coach, he's like every single main character in an 80s action movie. Not only because of the eyeglasses, because of the stoic attitude they take. But regarding Koichiro Ota, he is the guy in charge of training these girls to become killer machines.
Yeah. And he does a pretty good job.
You know, the guy who plays him is none other than Norio Wakamoto, who is, and I am not kidding here. This is more this is a misconception. He is known as one the manliest man in Japanese anime history, at least when it comes to voice. This is the guy who not only played Coach, he also played Yoshimitsu in Soul Calibur in Tekken. Besides,
Wait, hold up. Yoshimitsu.
yes,
Yoshimitsu. Also, one of the screenshots I just realized. How did I miss this? Good thing Josh noticed this. There is a Gundam reference, My Neighbor Totoro, and Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which is probably my favorite
Oh,
Miyazaki film.
you didn't know that?
No, I
yeah,
forgot. It just kind of like because I've
Yeah,
been so.
they're plastered all over. They're in posters plastered over a wall. There's even a Van Halen poster.
yeah.
Actually,
Noriko is actually a fan of Van Halen. It's like her
Man,
favorite rock band.
it's
No
like
wonder she's so cool.
yeah, like she's like as cool as like the fan base. Like that's probably why everybody likes her.
Okay.
About fan base. I don't
Oh,
know about that, dude.
oh,
I mean, yo, I liked Gunbuster and I love rock and roll and I love me some anime. So
Well, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people find her like annoying, whiny little itch. Even though the same exact people think that Shinji Ikari is this greatest anime character ever.
you know what,
Like,
Shinji Ikari, like
what
there
drugs
is
are you taking, guys? And are
there
they
is
actually legal?
there like none of the criticisms of Shinji are things that I also can't apply to Amuro. All right.
eh,
In
yeah.
fact, Amuro
I'm
Hey,
refuses to get in the robot a lot more than Shinji does. A lot more. But anyway, let's talk about a Gunbuster.
we were talking about Coach, but not only that, the guy
I mean,
was
he doesn't
also.
need to go to the mech because he's a coach.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we
Oh,
got
okay. Real quick. It ends up that Kasumi has a crush on the guy, and to the let's say that things get a little ugly halfway through regarding Coach and her. But
Yeah.
by the way, RJ, Norio Wakamoto also voiced MD Geist. Yes, same guy. As in
What?
the very
I
What
really hate
the
being
heck?
reminded that I watched MD Geist.
No. I cannot accept that. That is not. Dude, the soundtrack for that was amazing, and it was like watching Dolph Lundgren murder the shit. Like, guys looks like Dolph Lundgren. Just imagine Dolph Lundgren, but like mildly autistic and going on a rampage killing people.
And
mildly autistic.
also in about the worst anime I've ever seen.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Well,
let's
won't be
move on to
won't be the first one.
Jung,
oh
Oh,
the Soviet chick.
oh yeah.
she's about this Jung. First and foremost, it ends up that she was named after of all people, Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, as in the two people responsible for the practice of psychology. She's also a prodigy. So she's actually a prodigy. in the sense that Jung became very talented when it came to her mech skills at a very small age. Considering the fact is, I do find it hilarious that this is an alternate universe where the Berlin Wall was not shut down because she's from East Germany, technically Eastern Bloc. She's from the East. She's from East Germany, and yet in 2015, the how should I say this? The nation of Germany was split up to this point. Like these guys didn't know what was going to happen eventually.
Well, I mean, no one could have predicted any of that stuff happening, so it's like, yikes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
more
like
more like
we.
shit that didn't age very well.
Yeah.
No shit.
Hey guys, it's 10,000 years in the future. By the way, the Soviet Union is still around.
Still around.
But yeah. Anyway, Jung, I would call. I would call Jung an arrogant shit, especially at first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to stereotypes.
But she, despite her, despite her like immediately forming a rivalry, uh, yeah, with Kazumi, she also very quickly becomes friends with them, even though it's kind of a rocky friendship. One of the first things she does is just like hang out with them.
Well,
I'd
you know, kami
say
tactics.
I would say it's more about rivalry more than besides the friendship. And fun fact, she and Noriko share the same birthday. Really?
Yeah,
Legit.
September 12th. I mean, it says on the page here.
Okay. Besides that, I want to say that regarding Jung, she actually had she was just as confident as Kasumi, if a lot more. I mean, the fact that yeah, she was arrogant. Yeah, that is a truth. She was also one of the few who would actually get the would actually be you know what? Go ahead, Will. Sorry.
I
I'll
didn't say anything. Keep going.
okay. She has this confidence that rivals Kasumi and Noriko later on. But the problem is, she's more of a secondary character more than anything else at this point. But that being said, people are gonna be saying Jung is best girl, but we're gonna have to deal with that shit later on.
Did you bring a shotgun?
Yeah.
I brought a knife.
Are you
I
ready
brought a
to
knife.
die?
I got a couple of knives. If
Oh,
you
we
want
could
to,
talk about best girl. It's Noriko.
oh,
And if you don't think that, you're wrong.
I'm gonna see sure that happens.
Okay. I mean,
Also, she has the bigger boobs in the series. Let's be real.
Hey, look, it's not just about size. It's also about
oh yeah.
shape. It's also about shape.
Okay. Expert.
No, but seriously, I like Jen's design, and interesting enough, her voice actress Maria Kawamura, she voiced one of my.
I mean, she plays the what is it?
She played Asuka's mother in Evangelion.
Yes.
Not to
Well,
mention
briefly.
Naga. Not to mention Naga the Serpent Slayers and Lorelai in Pokemon in the Japanese dub.
I mean, she was playing the what's her name, Budu Akibi from Samurai Champloo, if anyone noticed. Or she was playing
Which character?
Gracia Naga from Slayers.
Hold up. Which character from Samurai Champloo?
It's from episode 6. the Bundaukina, I believe their name is.
I haven't watched.
Brunette, dreamy eyes.
Describe the episode, so I figure.
I don't remember.
Hold up.
But
Is it?
regardless,
No, I'm trying to figure out which character that is because I own the DVD set and I've only wait. It's a Japanese dub though. I've only watched the English dub. There's my first problem.
anyway, my point is she plays very well with a lot of characters. And it actually shows. She's really good with that character here.
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't have a German accent, unfortunately, but yeah, you know.
Let's move on to the plot. We're almost an hour in, so we're gonna go over
The
time a bit.
plot.
The plot. Now the plot is pretty standard, like mecha and alien invasion stuff, except it has one kicker. It has a gimmick to it, which they utilize very well, and that is whenever they go to light speed, um, time moves slower for them than it does everyone else. So almost the entire year or the entire series happens within about maybe a couple years of Noriko's life,
Mm-hmm.
but like the actual time scale that everyone else goes through around Noriko is about 10,000 years.
And then some.
Yeah, and then some. Um so like after their first light speed jump, it's like a couple months and they're celebrating uh Noriko's successful mission, but they don't realize that it was just like, okay, she just got back from a traumatic experience, so she's not particularly happy, and she kind of freaks out. The second time they came back to Earth, and her best friend from high school, is now like a fully grown adult, uh, who's married and has a child, and she's still like 16 years old.
Oh, you mean
Yep.
Kimiko?
Yep.
And
Then Kazumi ends up becoming older than Noriko, and then there's other things like her getting messages from the teenage daughter of Kimiko, or
yeah, it was
what?
Kimiko.
Yeah, Kimiko. And this is used absolutely brilliantly to create character moments for Noriko.
Hey, did you know
Well,
that?
imagine you leave for like what, half a year, and you come back, and it's like 30 years past, basically 20 years, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
That
that's bad.
dude, you know what this reminds me of? In one part, this reminds me of a movie I saw called 15 centimeters per. It was that one Makoto Shinkai
Makoto
movie.
Shinkai film,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
What is it? The voice of a distant star or something.
yeah. That was the one. Voice of
I
the
mean,
Star.
here's the thing: the whole film is a gimmick, just like old Makoto Shinkai films. But anyway, and he still sort of didn't came as close as this OVA to actually, explore that theme in the first place. So, and it came out like 2002, I believe, or something.
Hey, Dude,
And there's there's no other anime that actually explores that kind of theme to begin with. Like most of them are like, oh, we just use light speed, but the time
Nothing
just
happens.
moves normally.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is there is a ton of plot in Gunbuster, and it's
yes.
only like 6 episodes. So there is a lot of the time where things kind of happen way too quickly, and there isn't like there isn't a ton of time for the viewer to actually like process what's going on. But I think they did work pretty well considering that. Like the show manages to balance its scenes out pretty well despite that. Um, but it does probably lead to some of the character traits that some of the characters have. For instance, Noriko becoming attached to people very quickly. As some of that might be a result of the very short runtime. If you want her to attach to someone, you have to do it quickly because of the short runtime.
I wouldn't say I got attached to any of the characters, but they did leave an
Well,
impression on
no,
me.
I mean Noriko becoming attached to people quickly. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. The chick who played Kasumi also played Shampoo Rama and a half though. I was checking that out right now. And well, the reason I'm saying this is because I used to watch Rama and a half when I was a kid. And well, it would be cool if we actually did Rama and a half, but this show has how many seasons did that show have? Like
Ranma is
too
much
long.
too long to like. We'd have to like just like watch a season and review like
Oh
that
God, no.
season. Um,
I mean, she's not the only one. Noriko Hidaka played, if I recall, she played Akane in the series.
yeah, but anyway, let's get back to
Yeah.
Gunbuster.
Uh,
Um, the uh, the ending to the show. I'm not gonna spoil it. But it is a little
It's
bit cheesy, I think. Like it's
no.
cheesy when you think about it, but it's done in that sort of classic way where like it probably wasn't cheesy at the time, and the way it's done is done so well that it doesn't really matter anyway. It feels really good. Um but there are also like a few nitpicks I can give here and there, like why are the robots doing push-ups?
yeah, that didn't make
Well,
sense. Same with the jump ropes.
I mean, it's mostly because they're like in the mechs, and you kind of have to familiarize yourself with the controls and stuff, so it kind of makes sense on that level.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
I do get that question literally every time I show someone the show though.
yeah,
The other thing is regarding the series. Why did some of the people not use common sense in certain situations? Like
Like
for example, when one example would be what's his name? Smith, who was the guy that Noriko met, and the guy was only around for like one episode, and then the guy was a little too confident when it came to considering the danger he was in.
well like what did he do that didn't make sense?
Can you thought before? Can you? Can you? Can this guy? This guy just? Uh, since he was so confident in his battle skills, couldn't he have thought about strategically improving it a lot better? Oh fuck! I'm just talking out my ass at this point. This is bad.
I mean, there isn't much he could have done strategically. I mean, I mean, he wasn't trained to deal with uh like monsters that could move like 10 times his speed.
Yeah,
Um,
considering that he went out solo instead of having Noriko with him.
yeah, well, like he was trying to. Well, no, he had Noriko with him.
Oh. Oh wait, yeah. I remember now. He Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, either way, we have to do our wrap ups
Yeah.
now. Josh isn't here, so Neko, you go first.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, I really like that one. There's a lot of reasons to like say, oh, to mock that show and stuff, but I really like that one. Like, it has a character, it has like a lot of relationships that are like real dramatic tension. Storyline is really good for what it is. It has a nice appetizer at the beginning and the end. Uh, I mean, unfortunately, kind of gets overlooked all the time because like NG fans like, oh, Shinji and stuff. But I would say this one is better. Oh
Sorry.
god. Uh, and in some aspects, it's even better than NG because like it actually has like instead of symbolism and metaphorical bullshit, let's be call it that way, it just ignores
Oof.
like the several reasons. Like for example, the main character basically a chick as opposed to the dude, and she actually has balls to finish off the job, as opposed to being crybaby bitch. But
Oh.
uh,
Hey now, if you were a
it's
12-year-old
here's the thing.
getting
Please don't
shoved,
interrupt him.
sorry,
Please don't
sorry.
interrupt him.
What I think is really good about the show is it gives you a perspective that is not only like simple like emo stuff, but actually dramatic in terms of like, oh, you actually losing friends, you actually losing people who you liked, and not just in a way that like, oh, they got splattered across that wall by a giant mech or some crap like this. There's no, bulbas opening up in the sky or something. It's actually like, oh, we got to actually do it. It's a suicide freaking mission, but there is no other way. Like, period. And I mean, I'll give it 9 just because of that.
Striker.
Oh dear God. You know. All right. Whew. Where do I begin with this series? I went in thinking it was going to be another pretentious tribe, like Hideaki Anno is infamous for, because, well, I was expecting Gunbuster to be. Well, that's the big problem. You watch an anime like this, you expect it to be like Neon Genesis Evangelion, despite the fact that this was the precursor. I will say precursor, but Evangelion was actually its spiritual successor. All right. I would say if this show was if this series was any more 80s, it would have a kilo of cocaine, 3 lines, and it would have the same desk as Tony Montana from Scarface.
Oh god. Oh
Honestly,
man. That's
yeah,
quite a
yeah,
combination.
yeah. Honestly, the people who were doing this anime were clearly on cocaine because the rush The rest is something else. The beginning, yes, I did thought, where does this pick up? Like, where does this pick up from here? And then by the time episode 4 and 5 happens, shit gets really fucking real.
Yep.
And then
Indeed.
the battles themselves are the stuff of legends. Especially the final one in the area where where the monsters lurk. The weaponry they use is astounding, especially the giant nuke they use for as a last resort. It's as big as a fucking galaxy. That alone, to this day, lives rent free in my head as being one of the most batshit moments in that series. But also the fact that Noriko goes through actual character development. Actual fucking character development, something that Shinji Ikari doesn't. Unlike Shinji, Noriko's not a bitch. She will actually risk her life to actually save the human race.
Yep.
What do I rate this series as? I know I rated Evangelion somewhere like 7.5 to 8. Gunbuster is a motherfucking 8.5. This show is a fucking banger. And honestly, it's not pretentious like Evangelion. As a matter of fact, it's not perfect. Just this annoys me. Like for example, Noriko being a whiny bitch. But that's neither here or there. The soundtrack is brilliant. The battles are brilliant. The artwork is impressive. Even to this day, in my 35 years, as of tomorrow, 35 years in life, I rarely ever seen animes that have gone that have been as detailed as this. This show is 34 years old and it has aged like fine wine.
Agreed.
All right.
Not only
let's-
that, but it's Aneo's directorial debut as well.
Let's
Yeah.
let's move
Oh,
on.
shit.
Yep.
RJ.
Not much left I can say. I was just gonna, yes, Nico, sorry for interrupting you. I was kind of trying to chime in humorously because the counter argument is, Shinji was traumatized because, 12-year-old being shoved into a cockpit of a giant robot after seeing a giant monster. But
Oh.
I will say, I do like Noriko a lot more than I like Shinji because, one, like, she jumps into a situation and fights to survive and learns on the spot, whereas like Shinji gets knocked out his first fight, and the automated system, which is like, not really a spoiler, but the Evangelions are they're literally just human giants with cybernetic implants, and the thing goes primal anger. But with Noriko, it wasn't like that. She didn't get knocked out, and the machine didn't automatically protect her. She managed to fend off the threat herself. So yeah, great character development. What I really liked was that it reminded me of Top Gun. You know what other OVA series or miniseries did that I really like, that I actually like hold on to? Stardust Memory, the Gundam OVA that takes place between the original Gundam and Zeta Gundam. It shows how the Earth government turns to the Titans to enforce its laws across space, which turns into a new conflict because then the Titans take over Earth and the Earth government is forced to fight against its own enforcement regime. So Stardust Memory has a similar thing. The characters. The difference is that one probably had more resources going into it because you know who owns Gundam, So with that one, both the audience and the main character got attached to people who then died, because they're in the middle of a freaking battlefield. There's no miraculous cure. There's no, oh my god, he died, but then he's alive again. How is that possible? Like in war movies, if that ever happens, that's only because the character barely survived. Like they barely were able to keep themselves alive until they were able to get out of enemy territory. So this show is compressed. You know, it's. I mean, Gunbuster is a tiny bit condensed. It still manages to do a decent job. Like realistically, yeah, if she forms a crush on somebody, you know, which happens with Smith, I guess it's sort of I couldn't really tell, but whether it's infatuation or just admiration, she gets attached to Smith, he dies, but the impact is realistic. Like, yeah, that's going to happen if you get attached to somebody in the battlefield. In Top Gun, Maverick feels bad because Goose dies, and like if an anime could convey that without using the magical solution of, hey, you don't need to worry about characters dying. We'd always bring them back with the Dragon Balls. Anywho, my point is, I like this. The level of detail is great. The designs are great. I love the designs. Music is good. So it had good pacing. I'm going to give it something I don't usually hand out. 10 out of 10. So I do need your scores, though. So Striker was
I'm
8.5.
doing the math on it.
Oh, okay.
Can
Perfect.
I?
You just did your thing. We
No, no.
gotta get this moving.
I
Yeah.
was gonna ask if you can change that 8.5 to a 9.
Oh, okay.
No, never mind.
Oh god.
I would have to redo all the math again.
I'll let me do the math. I can do it fast. Just give me. Let me open up Notepad again because I just closed it. So, Will, what's your score?
Well, let me. Well, you. Oh my God! Why did you have to change your score, Lewis?
I can
Oh,
I can
no.
do it. Hey, hold up. I'm the math guy. So just tell me what your scores are.
All right.
I'll give
What was your score, Neko?
9.
All right, 9, and
9.
you, Lewis, 9.
I'm
So
10.
9, 9, 10. All
And
right.
you?
Not yet. I gotta give my final thoughts first.
Oh, I thought. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So, unlike you guys, I'm going to do this without comparing it to Evangelion, which seems to live rent free in your guys' heads.
Suit yourself. Suit yourself.
But anyway, Gunbuster. I first watched Gunbuster. God, when I was just getting back into anime after I graduated high school, and I was immediately impressed with it. And it's still impressive to this day. The artwork is absolutely beautiful. The music is absolutely wonderful. And I'm a big music guy. You can kind of sell me on an okay show if it has good music. And the music is Kino. And I love looking at good animation. The animation is Kino. The story is somewhat average, but it has a really good gimmick that leads to character moments that are quite well done. And Noriko is a pretty great character. Some of the other characters they don't really get the screen time that they could have to really flesh them out more. So the show does really what it should do with the short runtime it has and focus on its main gal. And it works out quite well. And there's nitpicks I can make here and there, but it's, really it's all quite good. I think I'll give it a I'll give it a 9. It's a damn good show. If you're into mecha watch it. If you're into retro anime, watch it. If you're tired of flavor of the week, seasonal, whatever, watch it. It's good. Gunbuster is good.
Um,
What's our average?
0.25. And let me check the My Anime. I'll do My Anime and
What
Metacritic.
what
Hmm?
what did you say? You cut out.
Oh, 9.25.
all right.
We scored it way higher.
Yeah,
Yep.
because the score in my anime list is 787, and in the case of IMDb, do be warned though before I say anything. This show doesn't have a dub in English, so you're gonna have to watch the subs until this year when Discotek picked up the dubbing rights for this series.
Yeah,
Finally.
I'm sure that'll go well. But anyway,
7.7 in
we
IMDb.
we
And
were well, you had something for us next month, right?
Yes, I
RJ?
do. Yes, I do. Wait, IMDb? I only saw the anime list. I couldn't find one for Metacritic, unfortunately. Anywho, yeah. I have some big news. We're doing a crossover for the first time with a podcast. The folks over at Thundaria that run our fighting game tournaments. Well, they do these like weekly tournaments, and then they have event tournaments, which I've been working with them on. Um, and they're gonna be hosting our summer season tournament for Street Fighter Alpha 2, but we're also tying it with the anime podcast. We're gonna be covering Street Fighter 2, the animation. Some of you listening may or actually already know which one I'm talking about. Bennett the Sage has covered it. God knows how many channels have already talked about it or referenced it. It's the one that has Vega trying to kill Chun Li to KMFDM play that song Ultra by KMFDM playing in the background. Um, but I'll get into that more next month. Um, all you need to know is that we're going to be posting on our social media pages how you can join the tournament and what time the podcast will be. So I look forward to seeing some of you on there because the top 3 players are going to get pre-games as prizes. It's free to join the tournament, and the software, from what I understand, is also free because it's arcade emulation, and Capcom doesn't seem to get upset with people playing their old games. But yeah, that's about it. I guess let's wrap up.
Bennett the Sage, more like Bennett the Sage.
Soggy.
Oh God.
Sage is never mind. Look it up.
We know who
a-
it is. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I don't.
Anyway, let's all say goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.
see ya.
I hope you
Sayonara.
Bye.
have a good night. I hope you've had a good month. I hope you have a good next month. And
Let's
we'll
all
be
have a
back
summer
with
that's.
Street Fighter 2, the animation.
Let's all have a fun summer because it's a terrible year.
Oh
I
God.
Not so much.
I hope you guys all go swimming or something. Good night.
Waving and flashing, waving and
Bye.
flashing.
Happy birthday to me, bitch.
All right.
Oh no.